Hi, folks. This is Chairman Oz Nesbitt, and welcome to another segment of Chop It Up with the Chairman. Our guest on this segment is none other than our very own Parks and Recreation Director, Director Jason Redmond. Director Redmond, welcome to Chop It Up with the Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. I really appreciate you having me on this segment, and I am looking forward to diving into all that we have going on in Parks and Recreation.
I tell you, I've been getting a lot of inquiries from residents, citizens, young people all over Rockdale County saying they've been watching Chop It Up with the Chairman, and they've been waiting for us to feature our Parks and Recreation. Folks, today is your day. Live right here on set with us is Director Jason Redmond. Director Redmond, you've got so much going on with Parks and Recreation, and I got a lot of things I want to talk about during this segment, and I got a feeling that we're going to be all over the place, but I'm going to try to stay focused so we can get it all out in this segment. First things first, how long have you been employed here with Rockdale County Board of Commissioners?
Chairman, I started in 2017 as a Deputy Director in Parks and Recreation.
Wow. Now, you started in 2017. You first came in as a Deputy Director, and you was working under the leadership at that time of
Director Sue Sanders.
Director Sue Sanders, who's now our Chief Operating Officer. We've made some movements. You've been since promoted. When did you get promoted to Director of Parks and Rec?
I have been Director for Parks and Recreation now for about a year and a half. I have been still under the mentorship of the great executive team leadership here in Rockdale County.
Well, very good. But, you know, when I think about what you bring to the table, Director Redmond, starting off your career with Rockdale as a Deputy Director, then matriculating on up to becoming the Director of Parks and Recreation. But your career really didn't start with Rockdale County. You spent some time in Parks and Recreation with the City of Atlanta, and I think you started your first career as a school teacher.
That is correct. I started as a school teacher. Very interesting start for me. Right out of college, I taught high school from the high school that I graduated from in Savannah, Georgia.
Wait a minute. You actually taught high school at the very high school you graduated from?
Very high school.
How many years from your graduation date from high school to you returning as a school teacher?
I was only 6 years removed, so
wow.
I still favored a student. Got some pushback from some of the staff, and particularly when I went to the copy room. But yeah, I was able to maneuver through that, make it work, build the relationships, get my face out there so that they knew that I was a teacher when they saw me the next time. But yes, school teaching.
And how many years in education?
So I spent 7 years in education total.
Okay.
I taught 4 years in high school. I taught 2 years in middle school. Then I did some elementary work for like a year and a half.
Very good. Now, would you say that was a perfect professional segue to lead you into your passion, which is now Parks and Recreation? Tell us about the time. I think you were down the road in that other big city down there.
Yes, I was. That was a perfect segue. It allowed me the opportunity to really work hands-on with the youth from every age group. I'm talking about from pre-K to seniors in high school. So from there, I was able to transition to the City of Atlanta as a recreation operations supervisor. There, I was responsible for 10 of the city's 30 recreation facilities.
Wow. Okay, that's a big assignment. Now, listen, before we leave this space we're in right now, what would you say, because I don't think there's a lot of young people who are either headed off to college from high school, or some may even be in college still trying to make their mind up in terms of which professional route from a career standpoint they want to go. What would you say about considering the area and the field of Parks and Recreation?
Parks and Recreation is a very diverse field. There are so many things that you can do to touch the community, to touch the youth, to touch the seniors that we work with in senior services, which I'm sure we'll get to. But working in Parks and Recreation is multifaceted. It's not just sports, it's not just programming, it's not just movies in the park. You get to touch everything and get a chance to build relationships with different environments, different audiences within the community.
I got to remove the stereotype because, you know, for a long time when people hear Parks and Recreation, they're expecting you to have on a ball cap, a whistle, a clipboard, a pair of shorts, and some sneakers. You're not dressed like that at all. Tell us, bring it real for us. It's not what we see on TV. Talk about the real world of Parks and Recreation. I'm still in the zone of educating young people about this career field. What would you say to encourage them in terms of considering the Parks and Recreation field?
I would tell the youth, follow your passion. If your passion is working with others and helping others, this is a perfect field for you. This is a place that you can touch so many different lives in so many different ways to encourage them to keep pushing towards what they want to push towards.
Well, Director, I really appreciate that because oftentimes some folks really don't have their mind made up in terms of which direction they want to go in. I got to add this because I've seen you in many different lights, not only organizing and in strategic planning meetings, but I've also seen you with a mop, a bucket, a broom, a shovel, out there getting it in. I've also seen you cleaning off the bases out of the baseball field. So tell us about the fact that you do multiple things with this hands-on position.
Yes, sir, I do. And my team understands that no one is bigger than the program, so to speak. So we have a very close-knit team in Parks and Recreation and Senior Services. And one of our mottos is our job is to get the job done. That means that everything that needs to be done should be able to be done equally by any and everybody, including the director.
I like that motto. Our job is to get the job done.
Yes, sir.
Well, folks, you're hearing it from our Director of Parks and Recreation, Director Jason Redmond. If you're thinking about a career field, and we want to encourage you to, if you probably not even thought about Parks and Recreation, put it on your list. Come pay Director Redmond a visit and have a sit-down chat with him. You probably want to call and set an appointment. He's a busy man. Talking about being busy, here in Rockdale County, Director Redmond, how many parks do we actually have under our umbrella here?
Currently, we have 20 parks under our umbrella that we service.
So you said 20 parks in Rockdale County. A lot of folks didn't know that we had that many parks under the umbrella of Parks and Recreation. I'm going to give you a pop quiz right here. I remember your days. You talked about your days as a school teacher. Well, you're about to get a pop quiz right here, right now. Name those parks.
We have Black Shoals Park. We have Costin Mill Park. We have Wheeler Park. We have Pine Log Park. We have Lorraine Park. We have Johnson Park. We have Wheeler Park. We have Shady Grove Park as one of the neighborhood parks. We have Millstead Park that hosts our splash pad. And that's just to name a few, but we have 20 parks. They're divided into regional parks and neighborhood parks.
And the most popular park in the county is?
Costin Mill Park right now. That is the most popular park in the county right now.
And we also have, there's a lot of pet owners in Rockdale County. Currently, we have how many dog parks, exclusive dog parks in Rockdale County?
Exclusively in Rockdale County, we have 2 dog parks. The first being at Richardson Park, which is in South Rockdale.
Yes.
And then we just recently added another dog park at Johnson Park.
So for the folks who live out in the southern region of Rockdale County, Richardson Park is located at Highway 138 and Union Church Road. You can't miss it right there at the intersection. When you get there, it's right over to the left, right behind the BP station, not far from the church. And then when you talk about the inner part of our county, more centrally located, Johnson Park, Ebenezer Road. You opened that park, I think about a year ago.
About a year ago, yes,
Okay.
sir. We opened that park about a year ago with SPLOST funding, which was great. The park is an essential location. A lot of people walk at Johnson Park regularly. They use it as their main source of exercise, and so we figured that would be a great place to open a dog park, right off the trail.
I've seen a lot of activity, a lot of folks walking their dogs, coming out to Johnson Park, and taking advantage of having that centrally located park there on Ebenezer Road. We've got some excitement. I think you got another park coming up for dogs.
We have another park in the works coming up. Yes, sir.
All right, you're not ready to make the announcement?
Not
just
yet, not yet.
All right, we'll keep that cake in the oven. So again, now I want you to tell us, and you can go in whatever order you're comfortable with. There's so many things in Parks and Recreation. Oftentimes I hear from citizens and people moving throughout the county saying, there's nothing around here for us to do. There's nothing for my child to get involved. Tell us about programming and the work that you all put into programming and planning in advance to make sure that you have a robust programming booklet for each calendar year. Talk to us about programming.
That's an excellent question, Chairman, and it is something that needs to be addressed and have the public be educated about. So we do serve ages from 5 to 18.
5 to 18.
It used to be 5 to 12. That has changed. We did realize a need for that middle group, that 14 to 18 group. Once you turn 12, you're kind of aged out of the program. So of course the 5 to 12 really focuses on our summer camp, our spring break camps, our winter break camps. We have programming there for kids from 5 to 12. But beyond that, the kids that are 14, once you turn 13, 14, you're too old to be in camp, but you're too young to get a job. So we have a very good volunteer in parks program that we have youngsters to come out, middle schoolers to come out and volunteer their time during the summer to give back. And it's a perfect transition for those kids who are coming from being the 12-year-olds and going into young adulthood in the middle school age where they're, again, being a school teacher, I saw this, I watched this, they're learning themselves, they're maturing, they're going into a different phase of life. So we welcome the opportunity to help these kids transition into that. And then lastly for programming, we just recently opened a teen center at Johnson Park.
Yes.
The Resource Opportunity Center, we call it the Rock Room. It is sponsored and named after Grady Jarrett, who's a hometown hero here.
That's right. We're proud of number 97. Yes.
Right, 97 plays for the Atlanta Falcons. And so, Chairman, we wanted to make sure that we had all ages covered, all bases covered, to give everyone an opportunity to come and be a part of their community.
Director Redmond, I want to go back to talking a little bit about the transitional period for those young people who are kind of transitioning from one age into another age. And you talked about the opportunity for them to learn about service and giving back. And it also builds character. Talk a little bit more about that.
It does. And I mean, at the end of the day, these kids or these parents can choose for their kids to sleep all day when they turn 13 or get up and come and volunteer their time. And I know this past summer we had several kids to come to Johnson Park to volunteer as junior camp counselors. And they started at 9 a.m. in the morning and they finish at 3 p.m., which we appreciate. And in talking to the parents, we do an orientation for them. We encourage them, no, don't make them work a full 8 hours. Get them acclimated into what it looks like, getting up early, putting in the time, giving back to the community. So it was a very successful summer we had with the volunteers and the young in between the tweens, as we like to call them, giving back to their community. It's a very important process. Every one of them that volunteered, the feedback I received for them was they had fun.
Now, when they volunteered, do you provide lunch?
We do not provide lunch. They are responsible for providing their own lunch. And the parents, we made this known up front to the parents. They did a good job of even making sure that the parents brought them something or they were able to go off campus. You know, the youngsters nowadays, they just do Uber Eats. So they order a lot of food brought to them. But again, it's part of the process. We want them to understand into how it looks. And another thing that we wanted to stress to them was you're building a great relationship and preparing yourself for a job. So when they do turn 16, 17, 18, Chairman, and they get ready to walk into Johnson Park and interview, they're fully equipped with the skills to sit down and have that conversation.
And my question was not a suggestion about you providing lunch. In the real world, you are responsible for your own lunch.
Yes, sir.
Rockdale County does not buy your lunch.
No, sir.
You have to factor that into your cost of your earnings and consider whether you're going to bring lunch from home or eat out every day.
Correct.
Which can be quite expensive. Parents, you have options. I want to go back to the opportunity to tap into learning more about Parks and Recreation, particularly that in-between time period or age period for young people where they're too young to be a part of a camp program, but maybe not just old enough to be a part of some of the other. We have provided an opportunity for them to learn about service and character building here in Rockdale. Parents, you have options. So we're encouraging you to move forward and reach out and find out more about these programs. So let's talk about, okay, school is back in session.
Yes, sir.
What about right now? Because school is in session and sometimes kids get home before parents return home from work. Is there some type of after-school program or any type of transitional program to fill in the gap of time? Because we know what an idle mind will do for a young person.
Yes, sir. That's another great question. Currently, we do not have after-school programming. We are working to implement that back into the Parks and Recreation.
I'm going to press you a little bit, Director Redmond. When you say we're working to implement that back, can you give us a time frame that doesn't back yourself up into the wall? Give us a time frame. Will this happen next year or?
This implementation is probably 2 years out. It's 2 years away.
Okay.
Because of the logistics that has to be put into place, the staffing that has to be put into place to make sure that we can handle a load of that. And we have a great idea of the amount of kids that will come just simply because of our spring break and winter break camp. And that's why we do those camps, to get a better picture of how it would look if we did run the full after-school program.
I like it. Sounds good. I tell you what, that's another opportunity for us to educate right here in this space. So I'm old school, and I come from a time and place when Parks and Recreation really was not like it is today. And I hear this all the time because back in the day, my mom only had to pay maybe $5 for a basic registration fee or participation fee, and the rest of it was pretty much covered by the local Parks and Recreation department. Things have drastically changed from the 70s and the 80s in terms of Parks and Recreation. Tell us about those fees that parents do have to contribute and pay in order for their young people to be enrolled and participate in some of our programming.
Yes, the fees are included into what a child is able to get out of the summer. Not particularly, it's I pay, they receive X, Y, and Z. It's a participation fee. It goes towards the general fund, which is able to help us the following year to make sure that we're able to recycle and run the same programs.
Well, not only that, is it safe to say that you do have some seasonal positions to help carry the load during the summer when you have an extra amount of young people participating either in our summer camp program or some of the regular everyday activities? Because even when it's summertime, regular programming doesn't stop.
Correct.
So it's safe to say that some of that funding goes back into the general fund or into the general fund to help offset the cost involved.
The cost, yes. We do hire seasonal staff, and they're needed because of the volume and the uptick of kids that are in the building and that we have to make sure we have support for. So yes, you are absolutely correct.
Well, another thing that I'm really super excited about it, and you were super excited as well as we came to this segment to talk about the new transportation vehicle that we can now proudly transport the young people in Rockdale County as they participate and engage with other communities and other counties throughout the region and abroad throughout the state of Georgia. Tell us about this new vehicle and how many passengers and people will it be able to sit?
We are very happy to receive a new vehicle. We received a new bus this year through capital improvements. The vehicle is a 24-passenger ADA accessible van, meaning that you can fit 2 to 3 wheelchairs on the van as well, so that we're making sure that we're inclusive to all. This coincides with our therapeutic recreation program. So we have to make sure that we're able to transport each and every individual equally and give them the same opportunities that everyone receives.
I like the fact that it's ADA compliant. You said multiple wheelchairs. We can get people on this vehicle even if they have some challenges. Listen, having a sense of pride about the community, having a sense of pride about where you work, having a sense of pride when our young people participate and compete sometimes with other young folks in different municipalities and counties throughout the region, they need to be able to step off the bus and re-enter the bus with a sense of pride and not be embarrassed of getting off of a vehicle saying, oh, that's Rockdale County. All of those things do matter. In the space of mental illness and mental health, we have to make sure that we address all of those emotional soft buttons that really matters to a young person when you're trying to build social skill development. Director, I'm so excited to know that we're going to be riding in style and representing Rockdale County.
If you look good, you feel good, and you play good.
Yes, sir, absolutely. That's that third A, appearance. When you look good, you feel good, absolutely. Well, now listen, we're going to go to break here in just a second. You got so many wonderful things to talk about. I do want to come back from break and let's talk a little bit about senior services in Rockdale County. Folks, if you thought senior services was a place just to drop grandma and papa off, you got it all wrong. Stand by, come back after break, and we're going to tell you how we're rocking and rolling with our very full force seniors in Rockdale County. You're watching another segment of Chop It Up with the Chairman. Our featured guest is Director Jason Redmond from Parks and Recreation. I'm Chairman Oz Nesbitt, and welcome back to another segment of Chop It Up with the Chairman, and we're featured with our guest on this segment is none other than our very own Parks and Recreation Director, Jason Redmond. Director Redmond, I'm telling you, when we talk about Parks and Recreation, so many different things to talk about because there's just so many things that come under the umbrella of Parks and Recreation. And oftentimes when people think about it, they think about a few of our parks and Costley Mill and Johnson Park and Wheeler Park out on Parker Road. Sometimes I'm not sure people know that we also are responsible for senior services. Yes, the Olivia Haydale Senior Center there at 1240 Dogwood Drive, is that right? Yes, Tell us about senior services.
Senior services is just a wonderful addition to have in Parks and Recreation. It's a joyous building to walk into. You can walk in on any day and see a room full of seniors enjoying themselves. They have scheduled activities and programming over there for the seniors to be involved in and to keep themselves acclimated and in tune into what's going on, to keep those minds sharp. And no, we're not busing everyone in. The parking lot is full. They're driving themselves.
I got to cut you off.
Okay.
I'm telling you, you talk about walking in on any given day.
Yes, sir.
I walked in on any given day, and they were doing line dancing.
Yes.
They were doing the electric slide. When I say they, the seniors were up doing the electric slide, and I just kind of got in where I fit in with them, and we all had, I mean, it was unbelievable to watch. So this is not a broke down group of seniors. These folks are active, agile, the physical stimulation as well as the mental and the social stimulation of being actively involved. Tell us more about over at Senior Services and what people can expect for folks who don't know anything about Rockdale County offering senior services.
Yes, sir. They participate in so much. We have relationships built with the Georgia Recreation Parks Association, which is GRPA, and also ARC, which is the Atlanta Regional Commission. The Atlanta Regional Commission, we have heavy involvement with them from a grants perspective. We receive a lot of grant money from ARC to make sure that we're able to provide some of the opportunities and programming that we have for the seniors at the Senior Center. From a GRP perspective, they participate in Senior Olympics. They have a big senior talent show that they visit every year. So as you said, they're very active and they're not just waiting on us to give them things. They get a chance to sign up for what they want to participate in, and they get a chance to just stay involved.
Well, you know, one of the things I was given a warning. This has been one of the hottest summers on record, and I just wanted to go over and tell them about the upcoming fan giveaway that we had. But the warning I received from my office, Mr. Chairman, don't interrupt bingo. Bingo at the Senior Services Center is a big, big, it was a packed house of people. Yeah. Tell us about the bingo and why that is so important to them here in Rockdale County.
It gets pretty competitive. I have been in the building while they were playing bingo, and much like you, I had to stay out of the way. I didn't want to get involved in any issues, but it's a big program. Gives the seniors something to look forward to. One of the most important things with the senior community is consistency, and for them to have something to look forward to on certain days of the week. And bingo is one of those activities that happens the same time every week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they're able to go in there and have a good time and be competitive and have some bragging rights after screaming bingo.
Well, I tell you, the seniors in Rockdale County are serious about bingo. You talked about consistency a moment ago, and one of the things that I know is very important and very consistent, and I'm proud that we provide this service through Senior Services in Rockdale County, and that's our Meals on Wheels program. There are a good number of seniors who have, to some degree, been left to themselves, or they're in a situation they don't have close or nearby family or a support system. We have multiple seniors that we provide through the Meals on Wheels program, a warm, hot meal on a day-to-day basis. Tell us about Meals on Wheels, and for those folks who are listening and watching this broadcast who want to learn about how to enroll themselves or someone they know in their community, at their church, or maybe a family member to be a recipient of the Meals on Wheels program. Director Redmond, tell us about this program that's very important.
Meals on Wheels, outreach. It is straight outreach. As you said, it provides meals to seniors. We have a team of individuals with the Senior Center that are able to take the meals out and deliver them. During COVID, this program was huge. It was huge. You got to understand that the seniors had a very important part of their daily routine taken away from them with COVID, being able to be at the Senior Center. And so Meals on Wheels gave them that face-to-face contact, that interaction when someone came to their door, to have someone to talk to. As you said earlier, many of them don't have family or are not able to be in close contact with their family. So not only did the program provide meals, it provided a place of belonging, a place of feeling, a place of connectivity for the seniors during not just COVID, but any other day of the week as well.
You mentioned connectivity and you mentioned companionship. Oftentimes people really don't understand when there's a senior who's been left to him or herself, and they don't get to see family or loved ones, or they may be in a situation there's not many or much family or loved ones. The meal is important, but the companionship, the connectivity, to be able to have a 3 to 5 minute or 10-minute conversation with that person delivering the meal really makes the difference. Sometimes I've talked to seniors and they said they appreciate the meal, but they really embrace the opportunity to be able to talk to somebody and get excited about having some company. Yes. Talk to us about how to get folks enrolled and how can people learn more about our Meals on Wheels program.
Well, you can contact the Senior Service Olivia Haydale Senior Center at any time to be enrolled or to sign up for Meals on Wheels. Deputy Director Susan Morgan is the Deputy Director at Senior Services, and she does a great job of making sure to capture a good database of seniors to work with and making sure that they receive what they need.
Deputy Director Susan Morgan is a rock star.
Oh, yes.
I mean, she is the one that keeps the world rocking and rolling in Rockdale County as it relates to the Senior Services Department. She knows every aspect there is about senior services here in Rockdale County. Talk a little bit more about having a talent on board. You don't really have to worry about the operations over there because she's got it down pat.
I do not. Deputy Director Morgan, she's wonderful to work with. Very educated about the senior service community, about the ARC process, about what it takes to make sure that the budget is being supplemented by the grants. She works very hard, her and her team, to complete the reports. That's one thing people don't realize about a grant. When you receive a grant, you have to do a report to validate that the grant is being used for what you're asking for it to be used for. So it's a lot of paperwork that goes with that. She works very hard on the end of making sure that the paperwork is received from ARC and that we stay in compliance so that we can receive these grants year after year. And she does a great job of making sure to stay involved with just the senior center as a whole, just to make sure that she's on boots on the ground and she's smiling as the seniors come in and out of the senior center.
Deputy Director Susan Morgan is a rock star. When I think about one of my slogans, passionate about people, persistent about progress, she's the epitome of that because she's certainly passionate about the work that she does, and she really claims them as her family. And that makes all the difference in the world, and we really appreciate. The other thing I have to talk about, you guys do a great job. Your team over there at Senior Services, 1240 Dogwood Drive at the Olivia Haydale Senior Center, the cleanliness of the building. Oh my goodness. I mean, this place is, as they used to say back in the day, it's clean as the Board of Health. So I'm telling you, if you've not visited the Olivia Haydale Senior Center on Dogwood Drive, go by, check it out. If you're thinking about getting your parent or someone or yourself enrolled, we encourage you to do just that. Stop by right in the heart of Old Town Conyers, right off of West Avenue, right behind the subway, 1240 Dogwood Drive at the Olivia Haydale Senior Center in Rockdale County. We have some rocking and rolling seniors in our community. We're so proud of the Meals on Wheels program. They get excited about bingo and all of the activities. Prior to COVID, they were taking a lot of shopping trips and even some overnight trips, and really some things that keep the seniors active and keep the mind stimulated in terms of what's going on in their day-to-day lives. And it makes a big difference. You also talked about the transition or perhaps the shift from COVID. COVID had a major impact on everybody and everything in the world, and certainly that included senior services here in Rockdale County. Our office received a lot of interesting emails because as other communities were opening back up, we elected to keep our center closed. As you know, seniors are the most vulnerable group of people in our community. It was important that we kept the facility closed. And I'm glad and I feel good that we made the right decision. With your help, Director Redmond, we made the right decision because during that time when we decided to keep the center closed, there was an uptick with COVID during that time. So it was the best thing that we could possibly do. Folks, so many wonderful things to talk about when we think about parks and recreation. I want to shift a little bit. I'm going to take us out to the northern part of our county, to our most popular park. Everybody's talking about Costly Mill Park. Right now, you got the summer concert series going on. You have Friday Wine Down, which is a popular thing that you implemented this year. Then the beach out there. Is the beach still open? Has it closed yet? And tell us about Costly Mill. That's what people want to hear.
Yes, Costly Mill Park, 77 acres. We have dubbed it a nature park and event venue. And that's what the park is. It has become quite the destination park. Our reservation calendar is booked for a year out, meaning that it is August, so we're booked into August 2024.
Wait a minute, you got to be kidding. You just sat here and said, we're booked a year out.
Yes, sir. We are booked a year out.
Wow, what a great problem to have.
It is a great problem to have.
Well, wait a minute. Let me talk to the bride who's planning her wedding. If you're thinking about planning your wedding and having your reception out at Costly Mill, I encourage you to call this number.
Yep. Please call 770-278-7209. Ms. Alandria Bing is the operation manager at Costly Mill Park, and she'll be able to help you make sure that your wishes and your reservation dreams come true.
Give us that number slow, one more time.
The number is 770-278-7209. The address is 2455 Costly Mill Road.
I have no doubt that folks are dialing that number right now and calling Miss Bing. Miss Bing is another super rock star in Rockdale County. They're passionate about the work she does to manage and run Costly Mill on behalf of Rockdale County. Give us a little bit more that folks didn't know and realize when it comes to Costly Mill Park.
Costly Mill Park is a very unique place. Very unique. You have your regulars that come out there to run every morning. We make sure to keep the program calendar full and of interesting things to do and different things to do. The concert series by far has been the most popular thing that we've had at Costly Mill. We get so many Facebook hits, likes, messages about the concert series because people really just want something to be able to do in their community, in their backyard, and not travel down I-20, which they're doing tons of construction on right now, and not deal with that headache and uncomfortability of traveling on the weekend, which I don't blame them. Costly Mill Park has provided that for Rockdale County. It's provided a place of opportunity, a place of activity, a place of relaxation. As you mentioned before, the Friday Wine Down is an event that we implemented this year, and it's a relaxation event. You know, you get to come out on Fridays after you've had that long week at work and just relax and wine and wind down and get some of that stress off and listen to some nice jazz and sit out in the nature and by the water and be able to feel the breeze. It's been a hot summer. We normally start the event around 6 p.m., so it's perfect. The sun is declining and people are able to come out and just relax and enjoy themselves.
Director Redmond, let's take it a little bit by bit, I like to say. Now, out at Costly Mill, there is a kiddie park that folks can still access even when the park is closed. So let's start here. What are the park hours? And let's tell us about accessing the kiddie park even when the park is closed.
Yep, the summer hours are from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. right now. The winter hours are from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So when daylight savings times occur, we close the park for safety reasons naturally because it's dark outside. The park is actually, I'm glad you asked that, Chairman. The park is divided into 3 sections right now. Okay. We have a public section, we have an event pavilion that's on the rear of the park on the multi-use purpose field. Then we have the beach pavilion, and then we also have the event center. So that is four areas that the park is divided into. And we're able to access all areas at once. If we wanted to have 4 separate events out at Costly Mill Park, we could because of the way that the park is divided. The public section, or as I spoke earlier, the public pavilion is open from 9 to 6. It's first come, first serve, or you can reserve the pavilion. We have many residents that come out to have small birthday parties for the younger kids and enjoy the playground. That is one of the few playgrounds that we have in the northern area of the county. The other one will be at Black Shows. So it was a much needed addition for the Parks and Recreation inventory to give the residents in that county an opportunity to come out and enjoy an area and not have to drive so far into town.
Wow, I tell you a little bit of something for everybody, making sure that we provide a very robust but a very diverse makeup in terms of our opportunities for music and different genres of music with our summer concert series. We've been averaging about 1,500 people per Sunday each month out at Costly Mill. You've added some surplus, or maybe should I call it overflow parking that's paved with a restroom facility. Tell us about the parking.
Yes, sir. We added a trailhead parking lot. We have plans to extend the current trail at Costly Mill Park. We have a loop trail right now that's at the park, and we have plans to extend it out on the property, over the water, create a bridge. So we have some very unique plans planned for that. But the first step was to make sure that we build an overflow parking lot to address the parking need with the events and activities that we've been having at Costly Mill.
When most people hear or talk about Costly Mill, they only think about the beach area, or they think about the Costly Mill Event Center. They don't realize that we have, and you made mention a moment ago about the softball field and the pavilion out there. You've had multiple church picnics and family reunions, the wonderful pavilion out there, beautiful space for people to tell us what should they contact your office or Ms. Being? I think you talked about Ms. Being earlier. Give us that number again and how they should go about booking and reserving that space.
Yes, so to reserve any area at Costly Mill, you can reach out to the main number at Costly Mill. That number is 770-278-7209. And Ms. Bing and her team can help you reserve any area of the park that you're asking or you're looking to reserve.
A beautiful place for a wedding, a reception, a family reunion, high school reunion, any type of event. Your daughter's Sweet 16 event that's coming up, you're looking for a place to host that event right here in your own backyard in Rockdale County. Folks, we encourage you to take advantage of all of what Parks and Recreation have to offer here in Rockdale County. And don't forget to tap into what's happening out at Costly Mill Park. So many wonderful things. We're not going to cover everything about Costly Mill Park. We're not going to cover everything about Parks and Recreation. But I do want to shift back and come back into town a little bit. We were out on the northern end at Costly Mill. Let's bring it back out to Ebenezer Road again. Let's go back to Johnson Park. Now, you've done, through the Board of Commissioners, there's been some expansions and upgrades. Tell us about, because now you have 2 gyms. You have expanded the space in the area around the swimming pool. Start with the gym and the walking track.
So we added an additional gymnasium at Johnson Park, and we did a natatorium expansion. So that's our
what?
Natatorium expansion.
What is that?
That is our indoor pool that we have. That pool hosts a heavy area of participants. We're the only natatorium in this area. So you have neighboring counties that use us. The high schools have to use the natatorium for swim meets. So it's very busy. So just through years of observing how programming was going, we would have to shut Johnson Park down to host a swim meet. So we decided to, during COVID, while we were shut down, which was a great time for us to add some things to the building, we added another wing to the natatorium so that swim teams could use that wing, utilize that wing, and us not shut down the building. In addition to that, we were able to build another gym through SPLOS. That gym hosts an indoor walking track, a new fitness center for people to work out, the rock room, the resource opportunity center, a small game room as well. So kids who come to practice, the older sibling gets to practice and the younger sibling was just sitting there pulling their hair out. So now they have a little small game room to go into and get some of that energy out after school. So we've done quite a bit at Johnson Park with adding the new gymnasium to coincide with the existing gymnasium. And I would like to add this as well. We've been able to update and upgrade all of our gymnasiums so that they're the same theme throughout all of the county. So if you go in one gymnasium or the second gymnasium or the third, the theme looks the same and the upgrades are better. We have implemented new shock absorbing floors to help with the landing and the bruising of the knees and ankles and joints. So even if you just want to go in the gymnasium and run around, it's easier on the body. The track is also a shock absorbing track. So it was needed for the community. There are many walkers that come to Johnson Park during the day and in the evening. When it rained, we noticed it was a ghost town. So this was something that we really needed to add for the community to give the residents a different option.
Director Redmond, you've made reference to SPLOS on several parts of the conversation during this segment of Chop It Up with the Chairman. I want to take a moment and educate our audience about SPLOS, our special purpose local options sales tax. That extra penny is making a difference in Rockdale County as we do upgrades and improvements to all of our infrastructure and public safety, including senior services and parks and recreation. That extra penny makes a big difference in your community. If you've not had an opportunity to go out and visit Johnson Park in quite a while, you're in for a pleasant surprise. And I encourage you to make your way out to Ebenezer Road and see all of the new added amenities that we've added to Johnson Park to improve and keep up with the trends and the growing needs of our community here in Rockdale County. Now, Johnson Park is the heartbeat, should you say, of Parks and Recreation. Is that right?
That is correct.
That's where the main offices are. They can find you out there, and all the folks who are wearing the white shirts, they're out at Johnson Park.
At Johnson Park.
Well, that's cool and dandy, but long before there was a Johnson Park, there was always a JP Carr.
There was.
I want to talk about JP Carr and what it really means to have JP Carr located in the heart of the community where it sits there in the heart of Old Town Conyers, and the fact that it adds value to the immediate area around. Talk about the improvements you've made with the beloved JP Carr Gym. And right before you do that, I want to remind everybody, JP Carr is the historically black school that was put in place many, many years ago during segregation for black students in our community to be able to be educated here in Rockdale County. The county purchased the structure about 25, 30 years ago, did a complete refurbish and remodel, maintained the gym, and you've done some new improvements to the JP Carr Gym. It's the heritage and the history and the heart of this community. Talk about JP Carr, because it means a lot to a lot of people. We won't want to talk about all the wonderful things we're doing in all of our other park amenities and leave JP Carr out. Talk about JP Carr, Director.
As mentioned before, Chairman, great point. JP Carr Gymnasium has undergone some major upgrades. Replaced the floor with shock absorbing floor. The previous floor was rubber, which is very hard surface if you fall or just even run on it. So we put wood shock absorbing floor down at JP Carr. We painted the entire building. We added egress lighting to all the exit doors. We have ADA ramps going in and out of the exit doors that were on the bottom level of the gym. That did not exist at first. So we were able to just upgrade the gym to bring it to what we call the current standard and to help us look forward. This gym, like you said, has been around for ages. Even the bleachers, we were not able to replace those because, one, we didn't want to take the original look away from those bleachers, and two, the amount of work with them being on the concrete slab would have just been too much to disturb the building. So we wanted to make sure we kept the building intact and just upgraded it to a sense of pride. Like you said, we spoke earlier about looking good and feeling good. The gym looks really good. I've actually had a resident to reach out via email. Hadn't been over there in years, and we let him enter the facility and gave him a personal tour, and he just was floored. He used to go to the gym years ago and hadn't been in the community in some years, and he reached out and had some questions about it. I said, let's meet over there and take a look-see. So he was able to go through. He was very impressed with what he saw. I think we've done a great job of making sure the facilities that we have and that we own are brought up to par and brought up to standard to make sure that we're looking in the right direction.
Well, I really appreciate that, and so many people watching and listening to this broadcast really appreciate JP Carr, as I stated earlier, means and matters a lot to the people in this community, particularly the natives who've grown up here and born and raised here. When I first got to Rockdale County 23 years ago, the legendary Coach Stroud and his best friend, the legendary Coach Bell, both of them were hosting summer programs over at JP Carr, still coaching and teaching young people the sport and the art of basketball. One of the things about maintaining, as you mentioned, the history and the heritage of JP Carr and all of the upgrades. Folks, if you have born and raised in Rockdale County, a native here, or if you've not had an opportunity to visit JP Carr, we encourage you to stop by, give Parks and Recreation a call, and go by and do a tour of the facility and see what the difference we've made over the years in terms of maintaining the space. I do know that there are some programs in the works to do some big events and activities over at JP Carr coming up soon, so please stand by. We're going to take one more break and we'll come back and wrap it up here. We're watching another segment of Chop It Up with the Chairman. Our featured guest is our very own Parks and Recreation Director, Jason Redmond. You're watching Channel 23. Welcome back to another segment of Chop It Up with the Chairman. I'm Chairman Oz Nesbitt. Our featured guest for this segment, coming back from this break, is Jason Redmond, our Parks and Recreation Director, right here in Rockdale County. Director Redmond, we've talked about just about everything that comes under the umbrella of parks and recreation in Rockdale County. Talk a little bit about Black Shows Park. Tell us about it's one of Rockdale's most hidden treasures. Yes. I don't want it to be a secret. No. Tell them about Black Shows Park. You have the Black Shows Retreat House, the actual Randy Pointer Lake, and you have the Veterans Memorial. Talk to us.
Yes, Black Shows Park, another hidden treasure here in Rockdale County. We do have the Veterans Park. The Walker Heroes Park is located there in Black Shows. It's a very nice space, amphitheater, very peaceful. If you ever just want to get away, just to have some time to gather your thoughts, that's a perfect place to go and walk and take a look at all the work that the Walker Heroes have done in that area, all that they have given back to the community to make us aware of what it takes to have, for us to be free. One of their saying is freedom isn't free. So they've done a great job of relaying that message as to what it takes to be as part of that service.
You're right. I think this is a perfect segue and opportunity to give a big shout out to all the members and the board of the Walker Heroes. They do a fantastic job with commemorating all of our men and women in service and uniform with every branch of our armed services. Let me tell you something. We've got a little bragging piece out at our Veterans Memorial Park. If you've not had an opportunity to visit, I tell you, it will wow you, it'll blow your mind. Go out to Black Shows and visit our Veterans Memorial Park out there. It is something to brag about and to be proud of as we commemorate the service of our men and women in uniform and all of our military and armed service branches. Now, let's shift back over to Black Shows Retreat House. Yes, again, a hidden gem, a hidden treasure.
Another hidden treasure.
It's one of your rental facilities.
Yes, it
Talk
is.
about it.
It's another rental facility that we have. Again, it is booked. It is booked. It is booked. It's a great place to have weddings, have some private events, have some family reunions. Those are it's one of the few places that you have that actually sits on a lake. Carson Mills sits on a man-made beach, but Black Shows sits on a lake.
Let me take a point of privilege of being a little selfish about Black Shows right now. We hosted 2 of our men's fire pit fellowships out at Black Shows Park. The beauty of it is we had a DJ out on each time, and we don't have to worry about disturbing anybody. Right. The DJ was on the outside. The music right there echoing, bouncing off the lake, it's not disturbing anybody. You talked about being a private venue. It can't get any more private than Black Shows. Absolutely.
Black Shows is an awesome place to host your event. Within that, we have many residents who come out there to fish every day. So if you're able to get to Black Shows and go through the parking lot, you'll see plenty of fishing boat trailers parked in the parking lot because we have a high volume of residents that love to go up there and fish, as well as Parks and Recreations. One of the upgrades that we just recently did at Black Shows Park, we added a kayak launch, an ADA kayak launch, I should add.
Very good.
Something that's very well needed. We replaced all the floating docks at Black Shows. Again, just staying in the know and safety, making sure safety is priority with upgrades at Black Shows Park. So we wanted to make sure that the residents were safe while they were fishing, that we're able to, again, be inclusive with the activities and the opportunities that we're offering to the residents.
Director Redmond, those docks, those brand new docks that you were able to add during COVID, when everything was shut down, we were still working and upgrading our facilities throughout Parks and Recreation. The docks are wonderful. You talk about the safety aspect of taking young people out there. If there's a dad who's teaching his son how to fish, it's a great venue because it's safe. The platforms are more than sturdy. Then the new ADA compliance kayak launch. That is just fantastic. I didn't know we had that many people who kayak here in Rockdale County, but we do. Watching the people fish, the fathers and the sons, or the children, should I say. Also, all of the folks who were bringing their boats out. This is a wonderful venue. We encourage people to take a look at Black Shows Park and all of the amenities it has to offer here in Rockdale County. Now, one more spot we don't want to forget, South Park in South Rockdale County, in the southern region of Rockdale County. Talk about how that park is used, because I see a lot of folks with horses out in that park.
Yeah, Rockdale County is a very unique place. It really is. And one of the things that make us unique is South Park. We have a horse trail as well as a mountain bike trail there. We partner with SORBA, SORBA, and they're the Southern Region of Biking Association, and they help us maintain our trails out there. We get a very good traffic of amount of participants to ride those bike trail and horse trails down in South Rockdale, South Park. So again, is what makes us who we are. We have a lot of non-traditional things going on out here in Rockdale, which we're proud of because we give people the opportunity to explore those things. We're not city bound, city locked. We are who we are, and we host tons and tons of green space and waterways, and that's kind of what makes us special as to what we are and what we do. So we have to make sure that our parks are maintained to the utmost ability. Our park maintenance crew does a great job of making sure that the parks are kept clean from debris, whether or not we have inclement weather, just maintaining the trails and make sure that we're being good stewards of what we're in charge of here in Rockdale County.
It's safe to say that we've got a little bit of something for everybody here in Rockdale County with all of the amenities and the offers that we have through Parks and Recreation. It's time to wrap up. I don't want to wrap up with you telling me about what's coming up, what's on the horizon as we move from the summer months into the fall and the winter months here in this calendar year. What can people expect in and around and through Parks and Recreation? What's coming up?
What's coming up from a programming perspective, we had a fall festival coming up. That should be sometime around October. We have not confirmed the date yet because we're still working with vendors to make sure that they're available.
So how can folks find out the definite confirmed date? Where can they go to get that information?
The main place you can go is you can contact Johnson Park. That number is 770-278-7529. We're located at 1781 Ebenezer Road here in Rockdale County. You can also download our mobile app. It looks just like the Park and Recreation logo. We also have a digital brochure that's online that you can hit a link once you get to the website and explore our page.
Director, go back to the app.
Yes, sir.
Because that's where the world is living right now.
That's where the world is.
Living life on demand in the palm of the hand. Talk to me about the Rockdale Parks and Recreation app. Where do they go to? Go to the app store?
If you go to your app store and just type in Rockdale County Parks, the app will pop up. If you go into if you have an iPhone and go into your app store, if you type in Rockdale County Parks, the app will pop up. The app is a great tool that we use. It's real time. We can put alerts on the app. You can actually click on the app to see what programs are going on, the scheduling of the programs, where things are being held, what classes are being offered. So it's a great tool that we use to help residents be able to have us at their fingertips and be able to have the options at their fingertips.
More access, folks. You already have my number. You dial it. That's right. 3 out of 5 people have my number. You dial it. Now we're giving you more access with the app, the Rockdale Parks and Recreation app. People are living life on demand. Not just because of the app, but guess what? We still have the county website. Yes. Can they find that information on the website, Director?
Yes, sir. They can find information, all the information they need in Parks and Recreation on the website. We have a 360-degree tour that tours all the park facilities, so you don't even have to get up and drive to the park. You can actually go on the website and be able to see the properties with the 360-degree tour. That's listed on the website. We have trail maps that are on the website. We have it all that's on the website.
One of my favorite words is waiting to get out. Outstanding. Yeah. Let me tell you, Director Redmond, because so many people in and around the community talk about they don't know what's going on, how to access, how to find this information. We have a county website, www.rockdalecountyga.gov, www.rockdalecountyga.gov. In addition, he just told you how to download the app. So when you think about Fall Festival, that's coming up. What else is happening in Rockdale County that's coming up as we wrap up?
From an amenity perspective, we have some exciting things coming to the community. We have a tandem mobility bike sharing that's coming. That will be rolling out pretty soon. And what that is, Chairman, you will have access on the trails to rent a bicycle, to ride on the trails, to get a different version of fitness. And the bike sharing will be called Two-Wheel Fitness, and that coincides with our Fit for Life campaign that we launched.
Will this be one of those electronic things that I can do with my phone? Do I rent it, or do I get the bike for free? Slow it down so they can hear it clearly. Will this be a free bike, or will I have to rent and pay for this bike?
It is a bike that you have to rent. The fees are very reasonable. You just download the app on your phone, and you can go into it and and rent the bike for the amount of time that you would like to use the bike.
Well, these bikes, I see them all over the place. Every time I visit the city of Atlanta or anywhere in the region and even out of the state, that's a big popular thing now that people are able to get these bikes and pick them up just like the scooters you see all over downtown Atlanta. You're going to pay for it. You can access it using an iPhone or Android or what have you and pay for it right there on site.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So that's coming up.
That's coming. We have a skate park coming. We have disc golf coming. We have pickleball courts coming. Yes, we have pickleball courts coming.
Oh my God, Director Redmond, you said two things. Number one, let's start with the skate park. The young people that I see here, particularly in the Old Town Conyers, that are out with their skateboards and they don't really have a true dedicated place to go and skate and utilize it. We got a skateboard park that is coming. Then you mentioned it has to be the hottest sport locally, pickleball. Talk to us about pickleball.
Pickleball is the fastest growing sport right now in the United States. We recognize the need for it. We have one court right now that is lined for pickleball, and that is at Wheeler Park, right off Parker Road. But we want to add some additional courts to allow the residents to be able to play league play on those courts. We get lots of requests for pickleball, so we want to make sure that we're meeting the need. Not to mention that it coincides with the comprehensive master plan that was completed in 2018. So this is another amenity that we're adding to the public, to the community, to make sure, again, that you have something to do in your backyard. So we want to dispel that saying, there's nothing to do in Rockdale County. We want to make sure that we have plenty to do, and for not just for one age group or one particular audience. We want to make it sure that it's inclusive for everyone.
You talk about pickleball. I think there's an upcoming event pretty soon.
There is. We have the first pickleball tournament here. We're in partnership with Mercy Heart. That pickleball tournament will be September the 9th at the Rockdale Tennis Center. If you need more information, you can dial 770-278-7251, and they'll be able to direct you to help you get your team registered or to get you individually registered for the tournament.
I'm going to let you give it to them again in just a moment. Folks, if you're out there, you're wondering what is pickleball, some of you have never heard of pickleball, well, you're going to have an opportunity to come out and witness this for yourself. It is one of the hottest buzz in terms of athletics and sports activities. Pickleball is happening in Rockdale County. There's a tournament. Give us a date, the time, location, and where people can go to find out more. They can come out and see what pickleball, what all the hype is about.
What it's all about. The tournament will be September 9th, and it is in partnership with Mercy Heart. It will be at Rockdale Tennis Center. The number to Rockdale Tennis Center is 770-278-7251.
That is wonderful. Great news to hear about the pickleball tournament coming up. The skateboard park that's coming to Rockdale County. So many young people will be able to take advantage of that. Is there anything else, parks, or I believe we've covered just about every crack and crevice of parks and recreation in Rockdale County. What else do you want to tell us before we end our segment?
I just want to remind everyone that we're here. We're a resource for the community. You know, I know, like you said earlier, people think about parks and recreation, just sports. It's much more than that. We're a resource. We cover everything from volunteering to senior services to tennis to park maintenance to everything. We just want everyone to understand and get a better idea of what we do and what we offer. We're here for the community. We're here to make sure that everyone is included, is in inclusive activities, an inclusive place to be. So we just want to make sure everyone understands how to get in touch with us. Yes, I know everyone loves Facebook, but the best way to get in touch with us is to reach out via telephone, shoot us an email, go to the website. There you'll be able to contact us as well. All my information is listed on the website under the Parks and Recreation tab.
Director Redmond, there's a little buzz in county employment. They say that Director Redmond runs a pretty tight ship in Parks and Recreation. Why is that?
We have to be organized, just to be honest with you. We have to be organized. We're really big on quality control. And for us, that means putting out the same product consistently. So that's one of the things, that's one of our top things in the office, to maintain great quality control. So in order to do that, we have to be organized. We have to have policy and procedures in place. We have to make sure that everyone's following those policy and procedures. We service a lot of people on a daily basis. We deal with large numbers of residents and large numbers of activities at one time. As you said earlier, I think the previous two concerts, there have been an average of 1,500 people at each concert. In order to make sure everyone has a good experience, you have to have a tight shift. You have to have policies and procedures in place, and you got to be consistent.
We're at the edge of our seat and almost at the edge of our segment. Tell us about Hoops After Dark.
Hoops After Dark, a wonderful program that we have started, we've implemented. We've been in partnership with the Juvenile Justice Department, with Judge Maureen Woods, Rockdale County Sheriff's Office. It's been a great program to have, and it's co-ed. It's a co-ed basketball league that we play at Johnson Park. The games are held at Johnson Park. And the purpose of the league is to give kids a healthy outlet and a safe space in a place to feel belong. You know, and it's really easy, again, as we spoke earlier, when you get in those tween years, to find yourself in a place unfavorable to you that can really affect your future. So we want to provide a place for the kids to come. We give them meals after the game. We have a guest speaker at each game. The chairman, you yourself, has spoken to the youth and given them some great advice, and that's what they need. You know, there's an old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. So we're trying to provide that village through different programming and different activities.
I also understand that you had NBA great legend, Rockdale native Dominique Wilkins. We did. NBA native Dominique Wilkins to come out and talk with the young people.
Yes, sir. Dominique Wilkins came out and spoke to the young people, which they really enjoyed. So again, just trying to provide opportunities that they would not normally have. You have Dominique speaking at Hoops After Dark. You have Grady donating, being in partnership with us with the Opportunity Center. So just for the kids to be able to see someone that close to them and for that person to be tangible, I think it means a lot to the kids.
Director Redmond, you've done a fantastic job with Parks and Recreation. All of the improvements and upgrades, all of the attracting of great talent, people like Deputy Director Susan Morgan, your manager, site manager out at Costly Mill Park, Ms. Alandra Bing. So many wonderful people to get the job done. As you've heard me say on multiple occasions, no one gets anything done by themselves. We talked a lot about Parks and Rec. We're going to end the way we started. Started off talking about you. We're going to wrap it up talking about you. We won't talk about Parks and Rec. I got just a couple of things I want to ask you. Number one, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color is red.
Your favorite color is red. What's your favorite music?
I probably would have to say it's a mixture between reggae and R&B.
Reggae and R&B. Yeah. Oh, that's a good blend there. Yeah. That's a lot going on right there. All right, very good. What's your favorite food?
Favorite food would have to be a good steak dinner.
Nice steak dinner. Yeah, very good. Folks, you've been watching another segment of Chop It Up with the Chairman right here on Channel 23. Our featured guest for this segment has been none other than our very own Parks and Recreation Director, Jason Redmond. Thank you for watching. Keep watching Channel 23.